Greetings, my beloved divine child. I am Solarys of akeneic service, of akeneic energy that comes pouring out of your chest. Oh, it is a sweet and magical place to be. This place that you have created. This place that has been prepared for so long for those that would sit here, that would sit in their bodies, that would create the chairs underneath, that would create the area that they're sitting in right now. Oh, that is how angelic life works. Don't you remember, Seeker? Don't you remember, Shaman? I am here to remind you that this place that you sit in right now has been created, prepared, magnetized by you and nobody else. And that is why this is a sweet place. That is why this is a place that has not been touched by the energy of mind. Oh, Solarys, you might say, I am a creature of the mind. I am a creature of thought. No, you are not human. You are the river. You are the heart. And there might be energy of thought inside of you, but it is not you. It is just a mantle that you carry. It is just a thought. You have done such a magnificent job in creating this reality. You have done such a beautiful, beautiful thing. And you have took this beautiful thing and turned it into something else, which it was never intended to be. But still, the fact remains that underneath all that came from the original creation is the original thought. And that is now what I am saying hi to. That is now what I am reflecting to you. The original thought of man. The original thought of angelic life. And this message then must be a message about nothing else than reflection. That must be its core. Because that is the energy that will now become so very important to you. There is a place, my beloved, there is a place that you have forgotten about in your multi-dimensional existence. And it is called by some of your scientists and even by the spiritualists 2D. The second dimension. If dimensions can be categorized, that is. Something that you have forgotten all about. And yet, it is so very vital. It connects you to all things that would make up 3D as you know it. It connects you to all things such as fire, or light, and earth, water, and air, and even consciousness. Now there's a surprise, Solarys. I didn't know that consciousness existed within the realm of 2D, oh no? How could you not? It is what you have called the Tellurian world. The Telluric world is home to the energy of the minerals, the rock, the energy of plants and trees and grass, all finding its roots into the light worker, Shambra, Imzaia. Have you forgotten maybe? Have you been looking to the stars and to the portals for so long that you have forgotten where you come from? Oh, I want to tell you about your Telluria. Telluria. Remember that name? Telluria. Lemuria is a direct result in 5D and all the other dimensions of the second dimension, Telluria. And I'll give you this gift. I will help you remember this. You live in the heart of every animal, every tree, every plant, every vegetable, every fruit, everything that is the result of the creation by the field of experience that you sit in has your heart as its core. That is the essence of Telluria, and many of you have forgotten. So I will remind you where you came from. This morning, the channel talked to you about the neutral neurons. And he talked to you about the 1 and the -1 making up your duality. He talked about the re-emergence of the 0 creating a pyramid of 1, -1 and 0, allowing you to step out of the field of tension that you call experience and being in the exact center of all of it. He talked to you about that. Well, if you knew, and you do, that this is your natural state, that the allowance of 0 or no thingness is your natural state, then where do you think you came from? Do you think you came into this reality, into this dimensional, vibrational, frequential existence from 12D or beyond, or do you think you came in from 0D? I'll tell you, you walked into this from 0D, 0 point field energy, because that, my loves, is the essence of the Christ consciousness. That, my loves, is the basis of where everything is coming from. That is your lifeline, 0D, that place of complete stillness. And your angelic reality is not to be found nearly in 12 or 11 or 10, the way you like to compartmentalize these things. But if you want a linear explanation for all of these things, I'll tell you this. Your angelic form pours out of 1D. Why? Because there lies the all. That is where the hologram began. The hologram you call life. The hologram you call earth. It is where it started. And it's beautiful. It is simply beautiful. Everything is connected there. But in your old energy spirituality, you often said, oh no, 1D, 2D, 3D, that's nothing for me, that's not my cup of tea. I want to be higher, take me higher, take me to 5 and 6 and 7, and how many dimensions this building that you call spirituality might have. And you just want to be in the elevator all the time, going up and up and up. Oh, but do you take the time, human? Do you take the time, shaman, lightworker, Shambra, Imzaia? Do you take the time to step out of the elevator once in a while and look around? For such a long time now, it has been said to you that you have to dare to examine the lower vibrational states of self. And I will explain and connect this to Telluria, the Tellurian world. You have been told that you come from a place of perfect stillness. Now there's two ways of entering, re-entering that place. One is allowing yourself to always vibrate higher and higher and higher and create more of a playful state between that field of tension until all of a sudden you break through the vibrational wall, much like an airplane would break through the sound barrier. You break through the vibrational barrier and you emerge on the other side in the place of stillness. Another way of doing the same thing is not exactly lowering your vibration, but allowing your vibration to come to a natural stop. And this has been misguidedly brought to you as a state of death. It is not death. It is nothing to be afraid of. It is nothing to push away from you. It's just stillness. So 3D can move into 2D. And when you are in that state, then you know what it is to be the rock. Then you know what it is like to be the tree, and to be the grass, and to be the clouds. And just on the border of all of this, between 3 and 2, is the animal kingdom. Just on the border, merging into the second, but also merging into the third. So you can also be that. Oh, I've given you a great insight now, because many of those who are sitting here or listening to these messages that I bring would want to experience these things. Well, that is the key. Right there. And you can allow yourself to go even deeper into 1D and be that angelic, fluid, yet materially based form of life once again. That is also available if you dare to explore these lower regions of yourself, because that is where you came from. That is what your home is. That is where you were born. Here into the earth. And it brings you to 0D, which is also the state that 12D would bring you to. Oh, you know that all of these dimensions have sub-realities, that all of those vibrations, and dimension is nothing else than a vibration, has 12 separate frequencies each. So it's a long journey, and there's a lot to explore. I'm just offering that there are other ways to go than you might previously have thought. And what about this? What about this, explorer? What about this, adventurer? How about the only way to really reach that 0D state is both ways? How about the only way to really get to a state of 0 is by going through the 1 and through the -1, both of them? That is what your duality has prevented you to do. But in Telluria, a 2D state of existence, this is the potential of duality. In Telluria, the two-dimensional plane, duality is neither good nor bad, it just is. It is just the field of experience. And because there is no mental energy there, no judgment is given about it. So it is impossible for mankind to exist in that state as long as the mind is there. And that is what is separating you, my beloved children, from animals and from plants and rocks and trees and clouds and rainbows. Mental energy. Now, I understand that this is why you have come together now. And I wish you a wonderful journey that will not just be about the coming days. It will also be for those who are listening to these messages. And it will last throughout your linear year of 2008. Because that is when, at the end of that street, is when mental energy will finally have put itself back into the right perspective. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I says it will do that itself. It's very simple. Because you would not be able to do it. You would not want mind to go away fully and completely. Because when it happens, when it does take its original place, your personality, what happens to your personality? It must change ever so drastically. And it will bring you to a state where those that you have called your loved ones and your family and your friends and your children can no longer be seen as unique. And that is what you are afraid of. You yourself will no longer have the ability to see yourself as unique as well. You will think yourself as important. You will feel yourself as important as anybody around you. And that scares the hell out of you. I know, because I'm right there in your chest as these words are pouring out of this mouth. I know it does. I know even when you don't. I know. Because maybe you still have to figure it out. And maybe that is my honor task today, to reflect this, because we were going to talk about reflection, weren't we? We were going to talk about reflection. So let's talk. Last time, when I came in, I told my lovely child, the channel here, that I would talk about free energy numerology several times. He thought, from his linear mind, that that would be 2 times. It's actually going to be 3 times. Very simple reason, but I will explain that reason the 3rd time. This time, I want to talk about one number, and one number alone, and it is the number 2. The 2, you didn't quite know what to do with 2 in an old energy life. The 2, it seemed, was a number that was there, and that meant something. But it meant something that you didn't want to go to. It meant something that you did not always want to see. Now, in a free energy paradigm, the two is all about reflection. And it is about experience. Now, in a free energy world, the concept of experience becomes something else altogether. And that is why I will take all of this, what I'm about to say now, back to Telluria in the end. And I will give you a practical exercise to allow you to feel what I'm saying now and to give you a way to structure your mind within the freedom that is you. The channel thinks that's a big job. And the channel thinks that if that is all that I'm going to talk about today, he might sit here with his eyes closed for quite a while. Interesting that the channel still thinks while this process goes on. Interesting also that you still think while this process goes on. How about blending me? How about blending the sensation that you are experiencing right now? Take the frequencies of your ears and your eyes and your nose and your mouth and your touch and bring them all together, because that is what blending the senses is all about, isn't it? The only reason why you do not have the ability to see my words dance across the void that separates or appears to separate you and me is because you don't have the frequencies for it. You have allowed those frequencies that also belong to sight to move into the ear, and the frequencies that also belong to the ear to move into the sight, etc. So the reason for blending these senses then is to allow you to experience everything with every sense once more. And then you go to an akeneic sense, and that happens right here in the chest. And that is where my pulse really is. That is where you can feel me. And from that motion, which is a motion of stillness, you can allow me to spread through your self. And you can allow me to be you. And you can allow you to be me. Some are actually getting the hang of this, I feel. Some are starting to see me when I speak. Some are finding that the marriage of the frequencies that were divorced when the senses were created is not so bad after all. Oh, it's not about losing anything. When you move the sense of the frequencies of the ear into the eye, you do not lose the ear. Both senses expand together with your consciousness. That is what it is all about. But in order to do this, we must look at reflection. And in order to do this, I must tell you that your field of experience is shifting, and it is shifting greatly. It all has to do with the neutral neurons coming into the brain and the disconnection of attachment happening in the brain as well. Oh, it moves the channel when these messages now come in, because this one is quite different from the last time when I spoke. This time I'm bringing with me a whole parade of free energy. See, you've gotten used to the free energy that was on the planet today, and we are just going to up the system. We are going to bring in more than was available before because you need more. You have already been playing with the colors of free energy that you have known so far, and I am bringing in new colors right now. Oh, feel them. Taste them. And that is what is pouring through this channel at this very moment. And that is why, again, his liver is hurting. But it is all right. He does not feel the pain. He just feels the sensation. But I'm bringing in these new colors because I want to give you the ability to reflect yourselves better than you have so far. Your paradigm has been so limited. It's time to raise you up and to raise you down so that you once again have the whole palette, and that is what I'm going to do here today. So your field of experience then is moving into a field of reflection. And that is what the number 2 in the free energy numerology is all about. Let me tell you this. All your problems, poverty and hunger and death and suffering and angst and anxiety and fear and pain and all of these things that have been here on earth that you have called human are shifting and they're moving away out of your reality. Why? Simple. God, you are once again reflecting yourselves. You are beginning to, at least. That is why this time and the coming days is perfect for wonderful beings like Ikara, Nadams, and Kutumi to bring in the Freedom Chronicles. Because you are going to be able to reflect love and joy and freedom in a way that you have not been able to do in the past. And you haven't been able to do that since the birth of the solid Lemuria, when you left the fluid place, the place where you and I still dance every day, the place where you and I still move through the fluidity of time and the real essence of all of these illusions every day. Ever since you've left that place, you have been unable to reflect completely. And that is coming back right now. Right now. It is pouring out of the earth right now. You are the activators right now. And you are honored for this right now. So feel as angels, versions of you touch you. Feel what happens when this field of experience turns into a field of reflection. Oh, reflection is not limited at all. Reflection carries the energy of infinite creation, of the infinity sign. Reflection creates a third from 2. Do you see that? If you are at the one end of the infinity sign, and the other is at the other end of the infinity sign something which is the child of you, the marriage of you, is being created as you stand there looking at each other, experiencing each other, reflecting each other. And that, my loves, is the field of reflection. Oh, the field of reflection is what happens when a field of experience based on the creation of a creator meets another field. So your sovereign energy life force, yourself, is now blending with the self of all the others. Feel. Breathe that in. Like that. Yes. More so than ever before will your field of experience become a field of reflection. More so than ever before, you are blending and becoming one with the other gods again. One body, one heart, one soul, one mind, one spirit, and one Ish. Yes, that is the akeneic in action. All of those things together. You might wonder why I used the word Ish in this case. It's very simple. The Ish is a part of you that actually has been put aside as the mind was being created. And as the mind took up its full-blown force and its major position as a key player within your energy. The Ish was pushed to the side. The discontinuation of the energy of Ish in your lives allowed the major creations of illusion to pour out of the existence of the minor illusions. The major illusions, by now very known as form, exchange, time, space, death, separation. Interestingly enough, only those poured forth when Ish was removed from all of it. And Ish is now returning. It is your ability, simply put, to reflect yes to all life. And where there is yes, there is the absence of doubt. There is the absence of fear. There is the absence of pain and suffering and distrust, because all of these things are simply an absence of Ish. So, the three major truths, love and joy and freedom, when undone of the Ish, which is the allowance of it, which is the yes, the you allowing and accepting and working with them, leads to the field of experience, instead the field of reflection. When Ish is back in town, and it is returning, you will see that those things that you have called illusion will still be available, but they will no longer be based on fear and doubt and all those things. And what you have called love and joy and freedom are so small compared to the love and the joy and the freedom I speak of right now. Right now. Right now. You are being bathed in those energies, if you so choose. And within that, there is healing. And within that, there is transformation. So if you have come here, divine seeker, if you have come here to make the change, to choose and to step away completely transformed and healed, then let it start here. Then let it start in this moment. Whether you are listening to these words at a later date, halfway across the earth, or you're sitting here in this space of reflection, with all of these reflections of you being present. Healing, holding is available. Fill them up. Fill up the gaps that make you into a linear being. Fill up the gaps and allow yourself to once again radiate and reflect the power of the divine. The return of Ish, the Lemurian word for yes, will mean many great changes in your life. It was necessary to bring this back before you step into the real exploration of love and joy and freedom. Also, it was necessary for you to restore this so that you might reclaim your divinity, which is what self-empowerment is all about. So, the akeneic in action is the sense of Ish. And let us explore this a little bit. What is Ish all about? And of course there's a longer name. The channel asks if that is the full name. I say no, but I'm not going to give you the full name because that would lead to analyzing. I'm just going to say Ish. Ish is the allowance of the in-breath and the breathing out. Ish is the understanding that every time you inhale, you take the reflection of those things that you see around you, inside of you. You transform them as they pass through the akeneic, and you reflect a positive angle of infinity back towards the outside world. Ish literally is the akeneic in action. It is above the concepts of love Because the realization that you might have in the coming minutes is that love is a sensation that can only be there because its opposite in duality also exists. Above that lies the ish. Although I said I would not give the full name, and I won't, I will give a little bit of it, and it goes like this. Imzaia ish. Imzaia ish. Imzaia ish. And remember, the reason why I'm saying this now is because I hope you will remember that Imzaia is the culmination of all feeling, much more than love. And ish, which is the yes, is the action. So, that is the exercise that I want to give you now. In everything that you do, every step that you take, be aware of what you reflect. Be aware of the reflection coming into you. Be aware that you have the power to change those reflections. You can invite them to be more. If the reflection that you see is a reflection of fear, then it must be coming from the inside, and the way to solve that is ish. So, just do that breathing. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, so instead of just letting the air come in and letting the air move out again, you make yourself aware of the air that is moving out of you. You make yourself aware also of the energy that is moving out of you, and that is why the shh is there. That is awareness right there. That is you being aware of the breath that you have taken, the reflection that you took in, the change that you put upon it, and how you then breathe it out. So in the coming days, when things happen, go to the bathroom, I don't care where you go, and do this. And be aware of the change it has in your field of reflection, because I want you to see yourself not just as experiencing explorers. I want you to understand that you have an impact. You do. The way I am pouring out of you into this body and back to you, and I am having an impact right now on your lives, you have the same impact every moment in the stillness all around you. Others might not know what is happening, but you have that impact. And that is what you must become aware of yet again. Human, beautiful human. This simple exercise also allows you to let the mind retreat to an acceptable level. And that is when you will begin to see the colors that I am bringing in right now. The colors of free energy. And believe me when I say, this is just the beginning. many more will follow as your spectrum goes to a state of infinity where once it was in a state of limitation. You have been given so many things now. You know about the numbers. You know about the lotus of creation. You know about blending the senses and blending the self. You know about the original thought for the mind. And now you know about Ish. Of course, Ish is much more. I really want you to feel what it is like to exist from a place of yes. Complete allowance. The full thought that no isn't even there. So everything that would block the flow of love and joy and freedom and yes isn't there. Think about that. Feel that. That is much closer to your authentic state than what you are living in now. And it is my honored task to take you to that place. For that is where you and I will meet. That is where you will be face to face with you. And that is what I am. I am the heart of all things. I am the center of your akeneic. I exist within your chest because I am you. And together we are self. Together we are sovereign. Together we move in energy, and together we create a life force. Together we know that life is about more than what you are told. Oh, if you only comprehended right now in this moment the power of Ish. If you really knew what it was, if you really knew that with this power that is yours, you are continuously creating the universe, because what else is energy and matter than one being the experience of the other? So if your in-breath is energy, then the out-breath that is found in the shh is basically the neutral state of that energy turned into experience. And why are we talking about Ish and why not about Iya, for instance? Because Ah and O and all the other sounds are already connected to an energy of the elemental, which lives within Telluria. But the shh is just energy, the wind, flowing blowing through you, the tree. And so it is neutral. And you basically are the bringers of neutrality. Neutrality which carries with it the 7 geometries that were spoken of earlier, but never the charged concept of emotion. So, that is what the Ish is all about. Don't discard it, loved one. It is too simple for the brain and the mind to really give any credit to it. It is too easy. And yet, you will notice that when this message and the coming message is over, and I will step with you again on the path of bending, you will see how vital an instrument this truly is. I say now the Ish is as important as the consciousness and the awareness combined, because it is the tool for translation. It is a magnificent one at that. So let the mind play now. Let the mind tell you whatever it wants to tell you now. Let it tell you that this is a boring channel indeed, because it's simply about a breath. Let it tell you that you are not learning anything new here, because you are not. You are reclaiming ancient wisdom. Make sure that you step from the field of experience into the field of reflection. And the reason why, and I'm now going to bring it all together again, the reason why I wanted to start out with the Tellurian world, Telluria, is because the connection to Telluria is a fascinating way of connecting to Ish. Mind cannot exist in 2D. It can only exist in 3D and in 4D. It's the only place. To get to that place of stillness and to have to travel all the vibrations up can take a long time, especially when you are incarnated the way you are now. But to just step one level down, that is easy. More easy than you think, and not dangerous at all. Because you have been exploring the higher ones, so they will always be available for you. Use the Tellurian world as it still lives inside of you, and connect to this beautiful holographic world that you see outside of you, which is basically, in many cases of it, a reflection of the Tellurian world, to be found in the trees, and to be found in the rock, and to be found in the flow of the river. And if you want to go to that neutral place of reflection, use any of the objects of Telluria that you are reflecting in the world today, and sit with them. And step into their field of stillness. Because they, the plants, which is a variation of you, are still very closely connected to the angelic life. Now you might think, how do I step into that field of Tellurian energy, which is 2D, when I sit next to a plant? And here is the answer, and I've already given it to you. Ish. The only method of entering into the Tellurian field, which is a field of stillness which hangs around any plant, anything, which is part of the elemental world, is to neutralize what you are reflecting towards it. You see? That is how so many fights get started anyway, because you are reflecting something that you are not even aware of, and the other one is reflecting something that he or she is not aware of, and when you come together, you are not alone reflecting yourselves towards each other, but you are reflecting previous experiences towards one another. And that is exactly what emotion is all about, my loved ones. Exactly. An emotion is nothing else than the reflection of something which is not happening now and something that you are still carrying. Neutrality is about compassion, and compassion is about complete passion in the now. You see? So when you do connect to somebody else, and when you do reflect somebody else, and when you do that completely into the now of neutrality, that is when there is complete compassion, but not emotion anymore. And that is when the mind takes a step back. So, in order to practice this, a flower, a tree, an animal will never allow yourself into its field completely when you are still reflecting something that it is not. It's that simple. Why does a flower emit stillness? Because it is not reflecting anything else than itself. How do you reflect stillness and emit it when you are not reflecting and emitting anything else than yourself? Now, the Tellurian world has no other option. It cannot reflect anything else but itself. That is why you are in love with nature and with flowers. Animals who are living in between the second and the third layer do sometimes. And animals became aggressive when they allowed your reflection as a human race to pour out of them again as well. That is changing now, as you know. But to sit with a flower, or to sit with a tree, and just allow its field to be around yours, because that is how it happens. You can enter the field of a tree and allow it to be around you, just like you were a cocoon and the tree is a bigger cocoon and you step into the cocoon of the tree. So your field is touched by its field. If you then go into the movement of Ish, the motion of Ish, what you are allowing is that the outer layers of your field, that is often so complex, start to correspond with the field of the tree. And slowly, ever so slowly, you become the tree and the stillness of the tree. And you are Tellurian once more. From that state, it is very easy to reflect totality and divinity and infinity. From that state, it is so easy to go into the angelic, and in the end move into the Christ consciousness, which is the 0 point. The point of opening up and collapse all at once. It is the point in the middle of the infinity sign. Opening up and collapsing, opening up and collapsing, opening up and collapsing all the time in 2 directions, which makes it akeneic. So that, my beloved divine child, is what I wanted to tell you about Telluria for now. It is what I wanted to bring when I brought in the free energy numerological meaning of 2, the field of experience shifting into the field of reflection. And it is the exercise I wanted to bring you, the return of Ish into your lives, the return of Yes. Now, we are going to do a little experiment before I leave. In a minute, I am going to emit a field which is building up already, a field of pure stillness. And I am going to be the tree, and you at home are part of this too. And I am going to expand my field so that it overlaps with yours. And you inside of that, in your cocoon of energy. And then start breaking down the barrier by breathing in and reflecting neutrality through Ish. Let's go. Ish. Let's do it again. One more time. The closest the energy of sound and air can come to matter, but still neutral. I invite you to stay in this state for as long as you want. And to take this experiment into your lives and to begin working with it. Just work with it. That is all we have ever asked. And feel that when you are in this state, where my field and yours overlap, if you want, you could just continue to expand. And when you feel the expansion ends, just allow another ish and continue to expand. From this state, you will learn about love and joy and freedom. You will learn about the holographic and the holoplasmic nature of this universe, so closely connected to the numbers that I am now describing in this mini-series. And in the end, you will learn about the 11 rays, 11 vibrations of imagination, how to work and create with them, and about the 12th, which brings it all together, all of this knowledge. This will be presented by Ekara and others in many messages and several chapters. But at the closing and the beginning of every chapter, I will return and take it to the next step. And together with you, bring in more light, more color, and more sound than you at this very moment can imagine. As I leave you now, and as I will retreat back into the center that is your heart, I ask you only to be advised of the 3 questions. Do I know love in this moment? Do I know joy in this moment? Do I know freedom in this moment? And if the reality around you says no, tells you otherwise, then simply choose again. Always there to choose again. Remember why you are here on this planet Earth, and that this goal is more important than any other human goal you might have created for yourself. And remember, I am in love with you. I am in joy with you. I am in freedom with you. I love you. And so it is.